How's it going, guys? Hardcore Kid here. Okay, so this video is going to cover a bit of a touchy subject, and one that unfortunately has become quite a large epidemic, and that is depression. Now, many people, including myself and a few friends, have gone through phases where we become so overwhelmed by issues in our lives. Thankfully, with some encouragement, we still continue to live and pursue our goals in our lives. And despite all the best efforts, there are still a lot of people that need our help. And right now, commentators SuperFunnyBros and Youngblood Fantasy 91 have set up a GoFundMe campaign for their friend Emmett, who's currently recovering from depression following personal altercations with his family. I'll post the link to the page in the video description. Unfortunately, like many anti-Kickstarter, anti-Indiegogo, anti-GoFundMe dudes, there come naysayers trying to bring these projects down. Enter Ephrom Josine, a commentator who has started to grow in some infamy in the commentary community for all the wrong reasons. Most of his rant videos consist of him blabbing a bunch of senseless bullshit, trying to spread false information, and thinking that he knows better than you people. And when some of his biggest inspirations are Ace Salieri, Clay Claymore, and The Amazing Atheist, well, then you know this kid's totally legit. So let's watch his rant video on SuperFunnyBros GoFundMe campaign and debunk a few of his points.
So, remember a couple days ago when I discussed SuperFunnyBros GoFundMe campaign? The one for a guy named Emmett. Well, if you remember, I had two problems with those, which we'll get to in a minute. But anyway, the video is entitled SuperFunnyBros Scams People on GoFundMe, so go watch it. Now.
I actually did watch the first video, and much of it was just him summarizing the campaign and only bringing up two major points about it. That video was 10 minutes long, and this is only 4, and he does bring up the same 2 points, so I find it easier just to commentate on this one.
Anyway, so why don't we sit here and talk about Youngblood's video advertising the campaign. Now, does any of this invalidate my original 2 points? Well, why don't we go through my original 2 points? Number 1, where's the proof? There is none. Again, it's just Youngblood's word. We have no proof from Emmett about any of this.
Youngblood happens to be good friends with Emmett, and if you had bothered to read the description of the GoFundMe campaign, you'd see that they're trying to raise money to get Emmett out of his parents' house and fly him to the East Coast. This is at least temporary until Emmett can find himself a good job and a happy living environment.
You know, and it really just clicked with me earlier. Wouldn't Emmett have been the first one to talk about this? Heck, even before the GoFundMe campaign. I checked his YouTube channel. The only things up there are remixes and a commentary. None of which bring this up. He doesn't bring it up in the comment or in the description or anything.
Given that Emmett was both mentally and physically abused by both his parents and his ex-boyfriend, do you really think he'd be in the right mindset to just turn on his camera and say that he's depressed and complimenting suicide? Plus, worst case scenario, if his parents went onto his computer and saw the video, chances are they'd abuse him even more. So what good do you think that would do for him?
I'm just saying. There's a chance it would have been brought up at least once.
I love how you're not even treating this thing seriously. Child abuse and suicide? That's the funniest thing I've heard since Ebola! Way to be sympathetic, Captain Crazification.
Heck, if Emmett started the GoFundMe campaign, then that would have made sense. Or if Emmett advertised it before SuperFunnyBros did, that would have made sense. But no, he didn't. He just sitting down his hand waiting.
Look, girl, if you took the time to write down a script, you'd have better luck getting your points out rather than just pacing around trying to think of what to say. The gears look like they're turning, but you're not going anywhere.
Okay. So what's the second problem? The second problem I brought up is that the prizes were horrendously counterintuitive and stupid. Remember my original video, I criticized there, the more you donate, the more awesome you are. Like, really, man? Attitude. And the reward would get you one free video game. So you don't have to walk to GameStop, like this. Or get in your car and spend $60. You can spend more than $60 in the comfort of your own home.
Holy crap, you scare me! Well, what were you expecting to get as prizes? A boat made of solid gold? At least they're actually offering the donators compensation rather than having them just give up their money and get nothing in return. You keep trying to debunk SuperFunnyBros, saying that he is a fraud who is trying to screw people out of their money because he has no proof. Well, what proof do you have that he's scheming? All you're doing is speculating because you're trying so hard to be like Asa and the Amazing Atheist, who, by the way, has been exposed several times for e-begging. But no, in your mind, TJ Kincaid is a kind, caring soul who cares about his friends, and SuperFunnyBros is a money-grubbing douchebag. Try again, please.
So, luckily, Youngblood's gonna give us some update videos explaining what's going on. Now, I might cover them, explain and go through each of these to make sure this isn't a qualified scam, because at this point I am downright convinced it is, although I have been wrong before.
Oh, believe me, girl, you've been wrong before. About 104 times, in fact.
I want to make one more thing clear. This was some criticism I got. I am not calling SuperFunnyBros or Emmett or Youngblood scam artists for asking for donations. I'm calling them scamming. I'm saying they're scamming people because that's how it looks, okay? I'm SuperFunnyBros. Peace the frack out.
So really what it all comes down to is our friend here thinks that Youngblood and SuperFunnyBros are acting like con artists because to him, their campaign looks like a complete scam. Well, I myself can proclaim that this campaign is in fact legit. I have spoken to SuperFunnyBros a few times on Skype, and he has told me that they are in fact trying to get Emmett away from his family to a new place. You see, a while ago, Emmett was trying to come out as a homosexual, but his parents, who are strictly Christians and are against homosexuality, berated him for it, and this included Emmett's father punching him and telling him he was just going through a phase. Now Hobbs and Tom are trying to raise money to afford Emmett a flight to their place in Virginia so that he can get his life back together. It's a very simple process, and so far in the past month, they've raised $875. So, it's not a bad start. As for this kid, well, suffice to say, he's just a complete tryhard trying to stir up trouble and make the campaign look like a joke. But considering his channel only has 17 subs and a bunch of videos with mostly thumbs down, he really isn't much of a threat. So don't listen to what he has to say, guys. And if you're up to donating for Emmett's cause in exchange for a Steam video game of your choice, then go right ahead and check out the page in the description. Peace out, guys.